and welcome to the channel Crossing the Spiritual Streams. I'm Tandra, and today we're going to talk about an interesting topic, and that's reincarnation. It always kind of has struck me funny that a lot of religions that believe in an afterlife or in the rapture or in something going up to heaven or Valhalla or wherever, depending on what religion and system you're talking about, some of them have a hard time agreeing with the idea of reincarnation. In some ways you can maybe understand that, because maybe they think, okay, our soul, it lives this life, we do what we do here, and then we go on and we get to live the rest of our days out in wonderful bliss or with God or with whatever their belief happens to be. And so in some ways that makes sense, but in other ways I'm like, well, if there is a life after this death, if we don't just go to dust and we're finished, then why is it so bad to think that we may not choose to come back and be reincarnated again? I think it's a fascinating idea. There's also some other things about reincarnation that I think we might get into today too, because I've been talking about it with family and friends and other people, and we've come up with some interesting ideas and theories. So I think we'll talk about some of those as well. But anyway, if you can believe in reincarnation, or at least are open to the idea, I like the idea that I've been talking to friends of mine about the idea that maybe if time is not linear, that maybe when we reincarnate, we don't necessarily have to reincarnate into the future. Maybe we can go back in the past. Maybe I chose to live this life right now in the 2020s, but maybe when I die, whenever that happens to be, instead of reincarnating in 2100, let's say, maybe I decide to reincarnate back in 1900. And if time is not linear, if it's all set and it's all there and there's all these different points of times or spirals that we can go to, would that be interesting if you can go, well, this time I think I want to live out, living and going through the Crusades, or this time I like to live in the Roaring 20s or whatever. That might be interesting idea to think that maybe if we do reincarnate, that we could reincarnate in different eras. That would be interesting. Another theory somebody brought up to me that I find absolutely fascinating is the idea that maybe we could live the same life over again and maybe make different choices in it. And so if there's a theory about time, once again, that you can be on any given point in time, and so when you choose to reincarnate, you can reincarnate into the same lifetime, that would be very fascinating. And that could account for maybe somebody feeling thoughts of deja vu, because maybe you did live that moment pretty much like that in a past life. Maybe that could even account for theories that some scientists have of parallel universes and all. Maybe each one of them is our soul reincarnating into that life over again until we get to do it. Sounds interesting anyway. It's kind of a cool idea. I don't know. There might be some lives I might not want to relive again. That could be not so fun. But on the other hand, if you really like the life, or you think that you didn't do a very good job of it the first time, maybe you'd want to relive it again and see if you could do better. That could be an interesting thought. You get a do-over. That could be kind of cool. So I don't know. I don't think it's a very bad idea to think that we could reincarnate. First of all, you have to believe in life after death, but I think that's not too hard to believe in. We're all energy. Energy exists in the universe everywhere, and energy doesn't die or go away, diminish, it transforms. And when we die, it is obvious something is different about us. Something is gone, something is missing, something is transformed into something else. So it's that energy, that life force, whatever it is that makes us alive, has now transformed into something else. And there's no reason to think that once that transformation has taken place, that could not inhabit another being like it already had in one instance, and transform itself back into. It's almost like you have water. You boil it, it becomes steam. After it cools down, it becomes water again. If you freeze it, it becomes ice. After it warms up, it becomes water again. If you can do all those things, why couldn't our life force, whatever we have, transform after we die, then go ahead and transform again and become a new life? I don't see any reason why that wouldn't necessarily be the case. And if that's the case, then I think the theories of reincarnation, it could just be that we live out this life, we are who we are, we have our experiences, and then we die, and then we reincarnate into a future life. Okay, if that's the way it has to be, then our soul could learn things that way, and if time is linear at that point, then I guess that would be the way it has to go. But if time is not linear, then I like the idea of maybe being able to jump around into reincarnations. I also think that may account for the fact that some people, when they're born, they look a lot like maybe a grandparent or a great-grandparent or an ancestor. Maybe they were the same person back then. And they reincarnated into this entity and slightly new life, new experiences, so they're going to be a different person, but maybe they have those earlier beginnings of that person that they were before. That could be interesting. There are some researchers out there on reincarnation. There's some societies. You can go on YouTube and search for it. You'll find some interesting topics. There's different actual scientists trying to research this. They're taking down stories of children especially that have talked about being another person, or remembering a past life, or remembering children that they had, or that kind of things. And sometimes they're born with scars on them in the same place that the person that they say that they were before had died from, like let's say a stab wound in your stomach, and now they have a birthmark there, or a scar, or something else right there, or pains, that kind of thing. There's even a person in Australia, a little boy, who thinks he was Princess Diana in a past life. He talks about some things that would have gone along with what her life was like, and some other things, which that's an interesting thought, I guess. In India, this is very, very common. There's been documented evidence of different children who have talked about being in another village that they've never been to in this life, because they're only 3, 4, or 5 years old, and they talk about whole families. I was a husband, and I had 2 kids, and I made incense, or I did this and that and the other. And then they actually go and find that family that they're talking about, and everything they have to say about this person that died is true. So that's like, whoa, because the families had never met. There wasn't anything, newspaper articles or anything else for them to have read, or any way for them to necessarily have known that family, or have thought of that family, or had it in their subconscious that they could have imparted that knowledge to the child in some unknown way. And yet they know all this information, and they're very familiar. They go up to these people, they know that that person was their wife in a past life, this person was their mother, that person was, their child, or whatever. So that's interesting. So if you're interested in this topic, there are some very wonderful videos out. I might try to find a couple of links to put in the description for you to go out and look at it, because they're kind of interesting, because like I said, they're trying to be scientific about this. They're trying to take down the stories. They're trying to look up information that they can in the past as much as they possibly can, to see if they can validate some of the things that these children, like I said, especially in children, somehow it seems to be that they can remember these things. Maybe it's because it was so new to them, if that's the case, or some people think that children, as you get older, the realities of this world, the way we interpret this world, kind of solidifies as you get older, and so things like believing in other worlds, ghosts, and all these other things, kind of, you close a lot of that out. So maybe that might be it too, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is kind of a cool topic. I would like to hear some of your comments about it. I think, you might have some interesting things to say, or maybe some information that you might have that you've studied up or learned about it, and that'd be nice to know. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way you can hear about any future videos that we're going to post. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, there'll be a link to PayPal in the description to do that. And we'll see you next time.